Hello, we are now going to be using synthetic division to divide different polynomials. So synthetic division is really nice. It's a shortcut. So we can use long division if we would like, but synthetic division is going to go much faster. So we're going to divide a polynomial by a divisor x minus r. So you can divide things by like x minus 2, but if something is 2x minus 3, we can't divide something by 2x minus 3 in this form. Using synthetic division, we would have to change this to say x minus 3 halves. And we'll show you that actually in an example here. So the first thing to do is to recognize what we're dividing by. So for this first one, we're dividing by x minus 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the 0 there. And so the 0 would be x equals 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 1 and we're going to put it in a box. Then what we're going to do is we're going to list all coefficients of our dividend. And so we're going to go ahead and list them in terms of standard form. So our coefficients here was 2, -5, +5, and -2. I don't want to list any of my variables at all, just the coefficients. And if there's a missing coefficient, you would have to put in 0 as a placeholder. You have to account for every single term from your highest degree to the constant. So you're going to draw a big line here, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to treat this like a giant addition problem. And so you might be noticing like, well, we don't have anything to add. So here's what we do. We're going to bring down our first term. And after you bring down your first term, you're going to go ahead and take 1 and multiply it by 2. And you're going to put it up above. So we do 1 times 2 and put it up above. Then we add down. So -5 plus 2 is 3. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply and put it up. So 1 times -3 is -3. 5 plus -3 is 2. And then 1 times 2 gives us 2 up here. And we're going to put a vertical line here. And when we add down here, this is going to be our remainder. Okay, so we kind of segregate the remainder part. I'm going to go ahead and erase these lines so that we can get a better picture of this. This is what your synthetic division would look like. Now, in order to actually write this as our answer, we need to know a couple of other things. So our very last one is always the remainder, which means the one right before it is always going to be your constant. And then for the other ones, what we do is we take the degree and we are dividing out an x. So this was x to the third, but when we divide it out an x, we're going to be left with 2 more x's. So your first term is always going to be the degree minus 1 because we're taking away an x. Then you just go in decreasing order because this is now in standard form. So if this is your x squared term, then this next one is your x term, and then you have your constant, and then you have your remainder. So then we're just going to kind of clean things up here and rewrite our answer. We would get 2x squared minus 3x plus 2. Because there is no remainder, we don't need to have like 0 over anything. This would be our answer. So much shorter than long division. Okay, let's go ahead and try this next one. We're going to find our 0 of our divisor, and it's going to be 4. So we put 4 in the box. We have x cubed, x squared, x, and our constant, so we're going to write our coefficients. Notice that I am putting a 1 as my coefficient to x cubed. I draw my line here, and I bring down my first term, and then I multiply back up. So 4 times 1 gives me 4 up top, and then I add down and multiply back up, and add down and multiply back up, and add down. I'm going to draw a line here separating this last answer from the rest. Again, this is our remainder. We started off as x to the third, which means if we divide an x out, our first term is going to be an x to the second power, and then an x, and then the constant. So our answer when we divide x cubed minus 8x squared plus 4x minus 9 by x minus 4 is x squared minus 4x minus 12 minus 57 over x minus 4. That's how we're going to write out our remainder. Okay, so previously I had said when you divide, you have to divide by x minus a number or x plus a number. So looking at C, you'll notice that we're dividing by 2x plus 3. So what we have to do is we have to fix this. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both of our parts here by 2. So we're going to divide our dividend by 2 and our divisor by 2. And you might be saying, well, wait a second, how can you just do that? If you have 6 divided by 4, you're allowed to divide both parts by 2 to reduce your fraction. So what we're doing in essence is we are reducing this to make it work for synthetic division. So our first term becomes 2x cubed. I'm going to go ahead and say, well, wait a second, we're missing our x squared term. So we do need to account for the x squared term. Minus 3/2 x plus 5/2. This is now being divided by x plus 3/2. And now it's set up where it's x plus a number. So we can actually go ahead and do synthetic division now. So I'm going to go ahead and find the 0 here. You get x equals negative 3/2. So negative 3/2 goes in the box. We're going to do 2, 0, negative 3/2, and 5/2 as our coefficients. We bring down the 2 and we multiply it back up. So negative 3/2 times 2 is negative 3. So I add down and I multiply back up to get a positive 9/2. Now negative 3/2 plus 9/2 is actually 6/2, but since it's 6 divided by 2, I can simplify that to just 3. And then when I multiply back up, I get negative 9 over 2, and I get negative 4 over 2 when I add down, which is just negative 2. So to write out my answer here, I would have 2x to the second, again I'm decreasing my polynomial by a degree of 1, minus 3x plus 3, oh, not a plus, minus, oopsies, woohoo, minus 2 over, now we changed our divisor, it is x plus 3/2. And at this point, here's where we can kind of counteract that, because if we go back to the original problem, we weren't dividing by x plus 3/2. We were dividing by 2x plus 3. So what we need to do is we need to take this last part, just the remainder, and make it look like that format, dividing by 2x plus 3. So if we take and multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, we're in essence multiplying by 1 and not changing the value, just changing the way it looks. So when we do that, the numerator becomes a 4, and the denominator, when we distribute it, becomes 2x plus 3, thus making it our divisor from the beginning. So our final answer for this should be 2x squared minus 3x plus 3 minus 4 over 2x plus 3. Now, if you didn't like that flip-flopping between what we're dividing by, you always can use long division to do this problem, or you could back it up using long division. You should get the exact same answer. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.